So basically, you can see right here that this is the RIT die. And if it can focus, you can see all those little particles that are on there. Oh, it's part of that, I'm sure, is just pieces of cotton that got torn off when I was swabbing it. I went the wrong way once, but not all of them can be. I messed up over here, but I didn't mess up over here, and you can still see a lot of particles kind of caught into the wood fiber. So this is more or less just floating on the top, not penetrating at all. And I don't know, I don't actually like the look very much of it, so I don't think I would use RIT dye. That's straight up undiluted RIT dye, and as a blue, not super impressed with it. And then diluted, it's a little bit better, but still you can see some particles in there. I just think RIT dye is off the menu. So the next one over is looking a little bit better. This is the Dylon powdered dye. The saturation was roughly the same as for the RIT dye, but you can see, even though it started off as a powder, it looks like it penetrated better. So I'm not sure why that is. That doesn't actually make sense to me, but you know, the proof is in the color there. And then diluted in half, you see this actually shows through some of the grain a little bit more. And I don't know, it's pretty crappy grain to begin with, so it's not showing off much, but you can see it more than you can in that one. This is just straight blue food coloring. And remember, there's a little bit of yellowing that came from the wood that's underneath it. But I gotta be honest with you, of everything I did, that's the one that really jumps out at me as, wow, that's pretty neat. That's pretty all right. So then I diluted it down, and you can really see the yellow pushing through the blue here. But even that, if I were making something that I wanted to be peacock blue, I now know how I'm going to do it, because that's really nice. It shows some of the grain through there. Again, the grain's not that super, but it's there. And yeah, that's pretty neat. On a light wood, either of those would be perfectly acceptable, depending on the effect you're looking for. Now, this one was kind of the wild card. You can see that because I used alcohol to smear the marker lines, it oozed out. By no means is this a fine finish, but it's got some really cool character to it. I don't think I would ever use this, but I wanted to see what it would do. I find it interesting that there's red in the blue, kind of separated out when I applied the alcohol to it, but that's something interesting. I don't know, might be something worth exploring in some other capacity later. On the whole, this was a fun experiment. Can't seem to focus, but that cheap 99-cent food coloring really impressed me. And the stuff can be mixed for various colors, so I might actually do an entire palette on a piece of wood like this of just food coloring wood dye. On the whole, I'd say it's a successful experiment. From this range, I don't think I would really take either of the fabric dyes, maybe the diluted Dylon, but nah, food coloring's the winner on this one. So I found that interesting. I hope you did. I had used some dyes of various kinds before on wood. I don't want to spend $16 on a bona fide wood dye for a pint. I just think that's wasteful. I'm going to use it for, in my case, probably a box, which is maybe 3 or 4 ounces of dye. And I just can't bring myself to spend that kind of money on something I'm almost never going to use. Of everything we looked at, I was really impressed with the food coloring. It was the most even color. It was the most vibrant color. It let the grain show through. It was honestly something I'm going to play more with. I probably won't record it. I might show you the final product. I know it's really tough to make oranges with food coloring because the yellow is so much weaker than the red and stuff like that. So there are challenges to it, but you know, if I can figure it out, if I can get a lock on it, I could do some really cool stuff. And speaking of cool stuff, the next video is going to be something that I have done before, so I know it works. And that is using shellac as the vehicle and binder for basically shellac dye. I made an entire project, several projects actually. A couple years ago, I went through a phase where I was making a box for each of my nieces and nephews. And two of the boxes, I mixed some red dye and some green dye in two different batches of shellac and used them instead of paint. And I got a really great glaze effect that looked like candy and was really exactly what I had in my heart when I was thinking about doing it. And so it got me thinking when I did this dye test just for straight up dye that I ought to do an experiment where I use various things to make shellac dye. And I hope you join me for that one. That'll come out a week from when this one comes out. And I'm really excited to see what it'll do. Now, after that, I'm going to get back to cleaning up the shop and putting up the French cleats and doing all the other stuff that I've promised myself I was going to do. But I just really wanted to play with some color and get my hands dirty and see what I could do. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, at least click the like, preferably both. And come back and watch again. I'm going to continue to do these. One of the things I want to emphasize is every product that I make, piece of furniture, piece of wall art, whatever in this shop, when I sell it, all of the profits from that project go to Habitat for Humanity or one of the other charities that I favor. I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this because I love doing it. I'm in it because it's a fun challenge to make the videos. And frankly, I'm in it to do some good work with my woodwork. And that's why that's my slogan. I honestly, again, hope that every single person will just take one art piece that they're doing, one woodwork piece, dedicate the profits from that to the charity of their choice, and we collectively can make a massive impact in the world. Put your talents, put your skills, put your artistic ability to good, right? Just do it. It feels really good, I promise. So thank you for tuning in. This is the Ordinary Guys Workshop, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.